It is a pantheon of concrete and steel. It is a city that rises defiantly in the Delta, alongside the father of waters. It is the humidity of autumn evenings that drapes stately oaks and broad magnolias. It is haunted, and it is loud. It is Halloween night and cannon blasts. It is a Louisiana gumbo of humanity that cheers its tigers to victory and destroys the dreams of invading foes. The chance of rain is never. It is the cathedral of college football, and worship happens here, when the sun finds its home in the western sky. It is a field of glory, for sure, but much more than that. It is a sacred place. And it is Saturday night in Death Valley.
Oh yeah, 5-star LSU. I said they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This is the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey. Back and back it on up, hey.
T.A. We are live and we are back. We are back. We do want to apologize for missing this past week, start of the week, midweek, whatever you want to call it. Show had some personal matters to attend to, but I think everything's all right and we're ready to roll. Zach, so I mean, just quickly, obviously we weren't able to recap the New Mexico game, but I don't know if there is much to recap.
Complete dominant.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, we got the first point for tonight as injury update. That's about what the New Mexico game was. I mean, who got hurt in the game? That's the question. You know, who are we gonna have available?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was complete dominance, Zach. I mean, just real quick, and of course, I understand it's New Mexico, but this is the second week in a row the defense performed the way it did, and it's
really impressive,
quite impressive the way that these guys have been playing. I mean, especially against Mississippi State, now against New Mexico. I mean, they didn't even allow 100 yards of offense.
That's really hard to do against anybody.
Count them, 2 first downs. That's it. And
most of your yardage was on that like bubble screen that went for like 40 yards almost.
Yeah, I mean, good night alive. The defense was, dominant. So, I mean, what is your thought about that, Zach? I mean, do we see this continue? Obviously you want it to continue, but is what the guys have been doing on the D block it's kind of what they started calling themselves. Does the D block keep this up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they went up against Mississippi State, who is by far and none better than what they're going to see this Saturday against Auburn. And they completely dominated them, took away really the identity of who they are in Mississippi State. And so you have a team in Auburn who is really very struggling a lot to find a passing game and really not great at quarterback. And so, I think it continues, definitely. Like you said, I understand New Mexico is an inferior opponent, but they did what they were supposed to do against an inferior opponent. And it was even more so impressive because of how much they dominated them. Like you said, only allowing 2 first downs is pretty crazy. I'm really excited to see what they do against Auburn and the hostile crowd. But the good news with football, with basketball, with baseball, with a lot of sports is that defense travels. Defense travels. So I'm really looking forward to seeing them continue that dominance. And I think the task will be fairly easy against the Auburn offense.
Yeah, and of course we'll get into all of that more specific detail here in a little bit. Tyler Townsend, what's up? Appreciate all y'all hopping in here. Al, happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday, and Friday. It doesn't get much better than Friday, Zach.
Dude, I always look forward to Fridays.
Saturdays. Obviously Saturday football. But look, I only got one class on Friday morning. I get out at 9:50.
Yeah,
it's a 9:00 class, so it's not too early. Like I don't have to get up at the butt crack of dawn. Get up, get ready, take my time, get to class. It's only 50 minutes, and then I got the rest of the day. I mean,
the joys of college life.
Awesome.
The joys of the college life. I definitely miss it. But
so it's awesome.
I'm enjoying the weeks. They're flying by. They're flying by, especially this week. This week kind of flew by. Especially with everything going on that went on early in the week. So, and yes, we do apologize for missing. Nothing crazy. But I actually had to go to the ER in a weird circumstance. I feel like I'm an old man now, Reagan. I'm only 25, but I've got these.
This is your first trip to the ER. First trip to the ER.
First ever trip to the ER.
Stat of the night. Zach's first trip to the ER.
Y'all don't have to worry about me. Nothing crazy. I've got some pain that for some reason it starts up here in my throat and it travels down to my sternum, and it's a lot of pain. I will admit that. And so I had to go to the ER on Monday, and they couldn't figure out what it was. So I have to go to a specialist, and right now I'm just doing some pain tolerance. But because of everything that happened, it made the week go by so fast.
Pretty quick.
And I'm like, oh shoot, it's already Friday. Like I was working from home for a little bit. I was like just chilling, So now I'm like, shoot, it's Friday already, and here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. So yeah, I guess I'm getting old. I got all these aches and pains going on, but some kind of infection going on in my chest, but we'll make it through.
Fun stuff. I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy their Friday nights. As always, it's Friday night football. Hey, look. Hey, shout out to the Jaguars, man. Are they undefeated?
DeSoto Central?
Yeah. Dude, I ain't seen them lost yet.
You must be drunk, bro. They're like 2-3.
Oh, shoot.
They got beat pretty bad against Olive Branch last Friday. I went to that game. They lost. They went for it 2 times against Senatobia on 4th and inches at Senatobia. Couldn't pick it up. Lost the game. And then they lost to, I want to say it was Grenada or somebody like that. Okay. And they got cheated out of that game. The refs really screwed them in that game. It was just, I can't remember the exact call.
Well, I had seen nothing but good. And so
they've played better. They've played better than what me and you were used to in our times at
for all you people in Louisiana that get to enjoy like elite, like high school football, like top talent, us here in North, growing up in North Mississippi, you just didn't get that. You got elite baseball playing.
Very much
right, Zach?
Baseball.
We know of multiple people within our county that have played for Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and of course, the most infamous, the guy Zach graduated with, Austin Riley, graduated from our high school and is arguably one of the best players in the entire major league right now. So we were more baseball, and you could tell by the facilities, the uniforms, the equipment. You could tell where the money went compared to football.
I mean, they
okay?
literally have Snowden Grove right here in South Haven. It is a massive, massive baseball park where traveling teams come to play. It is a huge, huge venue for South Haven. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't get to enjoy the Friday night
Football,
lights
yeah.
as much as Texas and Louisiana and some of those states get to enjoy them. But when you graduate from there and you love football, you still go and you watch them.
Got to pull for it. Got to pull for it. Yeah. I tell you right now, it ain't like Walnut Ridge High School.
Ooh.
I tell you right now, I'd rather watch DeSoto Central than old Wally Ridge, Arkansas football. Okay. Woo! It look like junior high out here. It look like middle school.
That's bad.
Oh, mercy.
Me and you could join the team and be first stringers.
100%.
We might be a little bit out of age, but
Anyways, that's how it goes. So y'all enjoy your Friday night games. Don't take it for granted. Because we didn't get that growing up. Zach, so injury update. Obviously, LSU dominated. It was a great win. I think like the best way to describe it is you did what you were supposed to do. But there were some injuries that you sustained.
Yeah.
And there were two significant injuries. I think that are the biggest ones that we need to point to. Well, I guess you could say three. One of the injuries was not sustained in this game, but we got the update kind of at the same time, I guess you could say. But Armani Goodwin, Garrett Dellinger, and Major Burns all have suffered injuries and will not be available to play Auburn. Obviously, it helps, Zach, understanding that Joe Fouché is free to play now. He's no longer suspended, so that kind of works out. That Major Burns has the neck injury. Who apparently, I think which I don't know if this has been said, and it may have been, but the dude sustained his neck injury, I think, on the play against Mississippi State on that fourth down. When they sent him off the end, his neck kind of got jammed into the running back when he made the tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of gave him a pad to go around his neck there for the rest of that game. And I guess
he fought through
maybe, he played through it, but now he's going to have to sit out 3 to 6 weeks. And of course, with a neck injury, you got to be careful. You really got to be careful. And am I wrong? So I was not able to watch much of the New Mexico game, but what happened with Armani and his injury and what does that look like? And obviously, we heard from Brian Kelly that it is a substantial injury that he's going to be out. I mean, maybe more than just this week. Do you have more details on that?
I just know, on the play, he got tackled from behind. It looked like a hamstring injury. They were really hush-hush. I'm guessing did he announce something last night? Because I haven't heard anything about him actually officially being out.
Yeah, he's officially out.
Okay,
yeah,
I guess did he announce that in his show last night?
It wasn't last night. He had another press conference. He didn't have a show. I know you're talking about the radio show, right? It was on. I guess he had a second press conference this week. It was like following one of the practices, and he called the injury a substantial injury.
Okay.
So
see, I didn't even heard it. Which I've honestly been. I've had to catch up from missing work, some work Monday and Tuesday, so I played catch up this week. So I've been nose deep in my work, but that's as far as I know, it's a hamstring injury. I hate to hear that. It looks pretty substantial. because Armani was really your first. I mean, he's been your first guy
Yeah,
out
he's
there
been
to
number
play.
one. Yeah, 100%.
Luckily, you've got three other guys that you can rely on. Noah Kane kind of came out a little bit, had a little bit of a come out party on this past Saturday against New Mexico. Had a really good game rushing, broke the long one. I know it's New Mexico. I know it was late, but good to see from him to just completely run through the entire defense.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So and of course John Emery's back, and he, as I mentioned to you, Reagan, he looked good to me against State and against New Mexico. He hasn't had the big game yet where he rushes for 100 yards or breaks a long one. I just don't think you're going to see that from the running backs this year. I don't think you're going to see a guy that rushes for 100 plus yards. It's
probably not.
It's become very evident that this is going to be a running back by committee approach, and until someone kind of emerges, we haven't seen that yet. So I think they're going to be okay without Armani. You've got Noah Kane, you've got John Emery. I'm going to be interested to see who they trot out there first. I would predict it'd probably be Josh Williams because Josh Williams has been the most reliable back, and he's played really well. I mean, for a former walk-on,
can't fault him, man.
They trust him in pass pro, and against State, they put him in there on 1st and goal from the 9 or 10 yard line, and he bullied his way in there and scored a touchdown. So he has proven to to carry his weight in this group of backs, and so it's going to be a run back by committee approach against Auburn, as it has been in this entire year. You lose Armani, but you've gained John Emery, so you've got three guys that I think can definitely get the job done there.
Yeah, and I'm not a. Now I will say I hate that. I mean, obviously, Armani's been your best guy, but I guess if you could take a positive away from it, and I don't know if that's the best way to say that with an injury, but some of the other guys, especially specifically John Emery, I think he just needs some more in-game reps. If you take a guy out of the with a guy being taken out of the equation, he's going to get more reps. Yeah. So I want to see another guy, really kind of solidify himself within this rotation. So maybe we can have a 1-2 kind of punch with the running backs, and maybe have someone just dominate. I mean, you never know. We've talked Major Burns, we talked Armani, obviously Major Burns, Joe Fouché. I'm excited about Joe Fouché.
Yeah, me too.
And what he's going to bring to the table. And that is another, if you want to say it, positive. He's going to be a starter, dude. Game one, he's going to start. I would guess he would start this Saturday against Auburn. Look, I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I mean, Major's been great, and we want him back 100%, because he's been a key role, player in this defense. But Joe Fouché is a very experienced, 3-year veteran in the SEC. He's played in Jordan-Hare twice. Like, the dude's not going to come in here and be shell-shocked by what's going on, right? Yeah, I mean, he was captain of Arkansas's defense last year. So I'm not too worried about it. So lastly, Dellinger broke his hand. Supposedly had to have some surgery on it. He will miss he will miss Saturday. They had talked about, maybe he could play. If he were to play, you'd probably see a club on his hand, which I guess if he had a club on his hand, he can't call him for holding, that's for sure. But obviously he's been ruled out now at this point. And Brian Kelly said naturally Miles Frazier will bump over to his spot. And I guess the question is who will play your right guard in place of Miles Frazier? I think the number one guy that would pop into anybody's mind would be Anthony Bradford.
Yeah, Bradford, definitely.
So, Zach, who would you, if not Anthony Bradford or Bradford, how does this work in our offensive line? I mean, now this is going to be like your fourth different offensive line. Of course, this isn't having to do with lack of a ability. This is due to an injury. So
Yeah.
Not upset about that. But I mean, it is your fourth now lineup going out there. How do they play Saturday? Is this going to be a factor? Because I mean, Auburn's defensive line is no joke.
I think I don't think it's going to be a perfect transition, but I think I think it'll be a relatively smooth transition because Frazier has already started before, and he has started at left guard. So we'll see. I expect guys like Marcus Dumerville and Tremont Shorts to play more significant roles. And I know this has been talked about already with others, but it makes it concerning not having Dellinger. What if Charles Turner goes down? Who do you go to next? Apparently, that's going to be Marlon Martinez, who has been taking snaps. So, it definitely hurts the depth, but I don't think it is a massive loss for LSU, particularly in this game. Yes, I think Auburn has a great defensive line, but they are definitely not the best defensive line that you're going to see this year. I think you've already faced probably two other defensive lines that are probably better. Like State is arguably better than Auburn on the defensive line. Florida State, I think, is the best defensive line that they have faced.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
You can argue State and Auburn, but either way, I don't really think it'll be a problem, but we're going to have to wait and see on Saturday because we'll see. All you got to do is say we'll see. Again, this, like you said, this is the fourth different starting lineup on the offensive line. So anytime you're having to mix and match that much, there's going to be problems. There's going to be miscommunication. Luckily, though, the leader of the offensive line at center, Charles Turner, this is his third game straight being there. And you're also going to be in your third game straight of having Will Campbell at left tackle and Jones at right tackle. And I'm pretty sure, Reagan, I know you mentioned Bradford, but I'm pretty sure he started against New Mexico. Pretty positive he was the starter against New Mexico. So
over Miles Frazier?
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you are just going to be placing one guy. So overall, the unit is playing together for their second game in a row, most of the unit. But really, if you look at over half the unit is playing together for the third game in a row. So I'm pretty confident there that they'll be okay, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, and I think this offensive line is going to continue to. I mean, once Garrett Dellinger gets back and you can try to get some stinking continuity, I think this offensive line is going to gel. I mean, I feel like the leadership of Charles Turner has been a great thing the past few games.
Definitely.
Yeah, kind of overlooked a little bit.
He's had his problems. He's definitely had his problems with the cadence.
Oh, sure.
And getting everybody set and everything. There's been that problem.
And I think that's just again, continuity problems. It was Garrett Dellinger, now Charles Turner's in. And they changed all that up. And I think they're gonna continue to gel and it's gonna get better. And hopefully we won't have to worry about offensive line too much, come November. You definitely don't want to be worrying about it too much by then, because you're going to face guys like Will Anderson. But coming to Jordan Hare, playing Auburn in Auburn, their defensive line is solid. I would say their edge rushers are better than State's defensive. Their edge rushers. I would probably say State has the upper hand on the interior. They have some really good interior defensive linemen. Huh?
I said I don't disagree there.
Yeah, so I think Auburn's edge is a little bit more pressuring. So the freshmen are going to be tested. They're going to be tested on their first away game in the SEC, their first true road test. So it's going to be exciting to see if they can face the adversity of another change and take care of business in Jordan Hare.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jordan Hare, we need to recap or not recap. We need to give a little preview for this game and give our thoughts, offense, defense. We've given our injury update and kind of gone into detail about that. But we need to get into the game. We need to get in the game. I'm excited about this game. I love playing Auburn. This is just a great series.
It's always
it really
a great
is.
matchup.
I mean, it's got to be. Am I wrong in saying it's one of the most like historical in LSU's history? Like,
I mean, you go back to when me and you were first watching LSU. Like, they had the Flynn to Bird, like, crazy, Mad Hatter, time's winding down, and I mean, you remember the commentator, and Flynn is back to throw. Like, he's shocked too. Like, holy cow, they're throwing.
What
this
is the
thing?
offense doing on the field? What are we doing?
And they chunk it up, and of course, they score the touchdown, and the game's over. Like, it's been crazy. You got in 2017 when it looked like LSU was completely out of it. They had just lost to Troy, like, and you're like, okay, they're done. And then DJ Chark has the punt return.
Yeah.
In 2018, Cole Tracy. Thank God for Greg McMahon, right?
Yeah.
Cole Tracy, walks it off in Jordan-Hare.
There's the earthquake game.
There's the earthquake game, of course.
There was the game with the fire. I mean,
the
it's
barn
just
burner. So
the barn burner.
It's like time and time again, there's just crazy things. Like in 2012, when LSU honestly should have just absolutely bulldozed them. LSU's offense could only manage 4 field goals, and Auburn was held to 10 points
to me.
Yeah, I mean, that
smells like Les Miles offense to me.
That's exactly what it was. So, like, yes, you're going to Jordan-Hare, and yes, it has been a very crazy series, and I expect nothing less, even in Auburn State, coming into this game.
Al Landry said Jordan-Hare always has bad mojo in that stadium. I would agree. Look, I think Jordan-Hare's kind of underrated when it comes to stadium atmospheres. It's a great atmosphere. I mean, it really is. I also think which I think it's stupid that they're like Tiger, Eagle, like, what are you?
They're like Bama. Like,
what is it with the Alabama schools?
What is your mascot?
Got 2 mascots. Like, we're going to be a big old red wave, but our symbol's going to be an elephant. Like, what do we do? Roll Tide, but our mascot's an elephant. Like, I don't.
I guess because they just decided we didn't want to be like, go elephants.
Yeah, like, there needs to be like a 2-lane red wave on their helmet instead of the numbers. Like, good grief.
Because I feel like they're definitely more of the Tide than they are the.
Elephant. I never hear anything about an elephant.
It's just the logo.
The word elephant is never used.
It's just so the logo.
And then, of course, Auburn has the War Eagle and the Tiger. Honestly, I think Auburn needs to just call themselves the War Eagles. Because your Tiger mascot looks like it's on crack, okay?
And you already got 2 other ones in the SEC. You got Missouri and LSU.
Yes. And look, the reason I think they need to just stick with the War Eagle thing, because the whole, like, them flying the eagle in over Jordan-Hare, I mean, that's dope. I mean, it's a really cool – it's awesome. I think that's a great tradition. So, I think it's an underrated atmosphere, and I think they just need to stick with the War Eagle. But this atmosphere can cause some problems for a team who hasn't been in a true road test yet. Now, we were there, Zach. We were there in New Orleans. Y'all, it was 50-50. It wasn't no 60-40 Florida State LSU. It wasn't no 70-30 LSU. It was 50-50.
Yep.
Like, straight up. 50-50. And Florida State, I hate to say it, well, I mean, they won the game, but throughout the game were way louder. Way louder. So look, maybe they've been tested with that a little bit, but this is going to be an entire stadium filled with Auburn fans.
Yeah.
In a night game at that, and just a historically crazy series. Maybe this is closer than we think. I mean, maybe we don't need to just be like, oh, well, we're going to blow them out. But then again, here's reality. Sure, you could say, oh, Jordan Hare. I mean, I think Jake Crane, the week of the Penn State game was like, this, that. Penn State has the better quarterback. Penn State probably has the better coach. With all that being said, they're playing in Jordan Hare. Give me Auburn by 7. And then they lose 41-12. So is Jordan Hare going to cut it? Is the question. I say no. Sure, I love the atmosphere. Sure, it's a historically great series. This year, it will not be. It will not be.
And
Auburn
who's to say that the crowd will actually be that hostile?
I mean, you punch them in the mouth once or twice, they're going to start
Early?
leaving probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, you punch them in the mouth early, they may start.
It may be honestly, Reagan, it may already be a little bit less hostile because of everything going on.
I mean, you may punch them in the mouth. You may come out at halftime, and it may be like 60%. Like, here's the reality. Auburn is lacking a lot of talent, number one. Number two, your coach is on his way out the door. The dude has 1 foot in the grave at Auburn. And to be completely upfront, if Auburn doesn't beat Missouri in overtime, they had to take Missouri to overtime. Let's focus on that for a second. Just throwing that out there. They had to go to overtime with Mizzou. But if they don't beat Mizzou in overtime, I don't think Brian Harsin is coaching this game. I don't.
Probably not.
I think we'd be looking at an interim coach. So here's the reality.
I'm kind of happy Brian Harsin still is coaching the game.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Honestly.
Look, Bo Nix last year, as an athlete, won them that game.
Yeah. Not as a quarterback, as an athlete.
As an athlete, he extended plays.
It's a good
caused problems within our defense that was already in disarray last year, was not structured.
Anyways, that was early on, before Durante Jones started taking over play calling.
Correct. He made plays with his feet. He extended plays, created holes in our defense by doing so, and we lost the game because of that. This year, they don't even have Bo Nix. They had TJ Finley. Now he's hurt. He's day-to-day. Probably not going to play.
He's not playing. He's not
playing. Okay, he's not playing. Robbie Ashford, is he going to cut it? Probably not. He's like a great value brand Jaden Daniels. That's what Robbie Ashford is. Can he move? Yeah. The dude can run around.
That always save.
Oh, shoot. Like he can run around. Number one, not as fast as Jaden. Can he run around? Sure. Not as fast. But he can't throw the ball.
Nope.
Jaden can run around, and he's lightning fast, and he can make a few throws. So, Robbie Ashford, way outmatched. You're out-coached. You're out-talented.
Yeah.
And then you had a former player run his mouth.
And now you're just going to fire up the team even more.
You just threw gasoline on the fire. Zach, I don't know if you saw it or not. I don't know if you saw it or not.
I didn't even know about it until you told me before the show.
Oh, boy, Coy Moore. Anybody remember that name? Maybe a few of us? Anybody remember Coy Moore? Yeah, not many. Oh, boy, today goes on an Auburn podcast similar to ours, Zach. It looked like there was two guys, and they were interviewing Coy. Kind of similar to ours, kind of similar setup. Oh, Coy Moore claims that he left because, I guess he wasn't getting playing time, but claimed he was the best receiver in the room.
Yeesh.
Not only did he make that claim, the then Auburn fan, Auburn podcaster, after he says that, gives him this reaction. Whoa. I don't know. Hey, Kayshon Boutte kind of nice with it. And here goes Coy Moore's answer. Oh, I know that. But I was better than him, too. Boy, you as on a career, in a career, have only 40 more yards than Kayshon Boutte had in one game against Ole Miss in 2020.
Oh, gosh.
How you only got 40 more yards in your entire career than one dude's game? Hey, Coy, you're going to eat those words come Saturday.
Ding, 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 ding.
You are going to eat crow come Saturday, okay? And it got passed around today on Twitter. None other than Kayshon Boutte retweeted the video with a whole bunch of laughy faces. Zach, what does that do for... Yeah. Gosh, they just keep going. Man.
They're really excited about Kayshon coming back and clapping back.
So, what does this do for the game? I think it adds fuel to the fire. The fact that, typically when players say things like this, you think, okay, no, it don't mean nothing. Like, typically that's not paid attention to. But there were a lot of people who responded, and Kayshon Boutte himself responded.
Yeah. I'll make a prediction. Kayshon will have his best game of the season. And here's why. I understand, Kayshon's kind of had it rough. Some of that's been part of him, just being a little immature. But Kayshon has he's needed something to light his fire. And I think this lit his fire a little bit.
And he got a newborn baby, bro. He got to go out there and play for his son.
He just had a newborn baby, man. He's excited.
Let's go.
And then somebody's gonna clap back and be like, "Yeah, I was better than him." Yeah, Kayshon, he about to run it up, boy. He about to run it up.
Coy Moore, who is that? Coy Moore?
Who is that? Coy is a good receiver. I will say that. Coy's a good receiver, but he's not better than Kayshon. The dude couldn't
hardly make it on the field at LSU.
He's not better than Kayshon. He's not better than Malik Neighbors. He's not better than.
They was already beating him out. They were already beating him out.
And he's not better than BTJ. He was the 5th guy on that team last year.
He couldn't beat the freshmen, bro. The freshmen were getting more playing time. 3-star Jack Best was getting more play time.
Yeah.
Come on. I love that he said it because it's going to feel so much more sweet.
Deion Smith had a bet. Coy had some early playing time, but Deion Smith had better stats than Coy did.
That's true. Look, I like it because it's just going to be just as sweet once the game's over. Now that he has said this, but maybe okay. Let me get a little bit. Maybe we need to get a little bit more in depth, with the game. Okay?
Just maybe a little bit.
That was all for fun, and it was great because it's going to be great to watch that unfold Saturday. But look, I think Jaden Daniels is going to have a great game. An experienced guy who's been on the road in Power 5 games before. I'm not trying to compare the Pac-12 by any means to SEC atmospheres.
Yeah.
But the dude has plenty of starting experience. He's been on the road before with the team. I think this team is starting to gel really well together. I mean, I think they're finding their identity. They're improving week to week. The coaches and what they are instilling, you are seeing it. I'm not worried about this game at all. I think Jade Daniels is probably your leading rusher for the week because of Armani being out. He's probably going to be your leading rusher. I think the defense has another dominant performance. My question mark is, how will the offensive line hold up against Auburn's edge rushers? How are they going to do? And I am curious to see if one of these running backs step up and take charge with the absence of Armani Goodwin. So that's kind of my preview of it. I'm honestly really thrilled to watch this game because I think it's going to be a solid performance from the Tigers. I really do. I think this is a great game for them.
With me and Reagan, we've been saying that 28 is the point to hit, the number to hit for LSU if they're going to win a lot of games. And I agree. I think in this game, though, I think that goes down to like 24, maybe 21, because Auburn cannot score the football. They only scored 12 points against Penn State. They only scored, 16? 17. 17 against Missouri.
In overtime.
They just cannot score the football. They are very one-dimensional. LSU is going to exploit that. And you're already playing against probably the best defense they've seen so far. I think it is the best defense that they've seen so far.
Yeah.
So I think LSU needs to hit 21 to 24 to win this game. And I think they will. I think that LSU has enough offense, but doesn't need as much offense to win this game because I think LSU's defense is probably going to hold Auburn to, somewhere around like Missouri did, 17, 14, 10, 13, 16, somewhere in there. So, yeah, I expect the defense to continue to dominate. I'll go ahead and make a prediction. I think LSU wins it 27 to 17 probably. So, yes, I think LSU covers. It may be 27-14. There are some.
Where's the line at right now? It is grown.
It's at 9.
I was going to say.
It started at 1.5 Auburn. It started at 1.5 Auburn, and it has since then grown to LSU 9. And I think LSU covers. A lot of people have been saying that they think this game is going to be closer than what, than what Vegas is thinking. I think LSU covers. And I could be completely wrong, y'all. I mean, as we've said, it is Jordan Hare. The fans may show up and this team may get hyped up and excited to play because it's a big SEC home game. And it may be closer. But I just think overall, I think LSU, they match up. They win. When we look at it like in a matchups perspective, like I think LSU wins in almost every single matchup except our offensive line versus their defensive line. Like LSU wins in our receivers versus their DBs. LSU wins maybe running back against the linebackers. Our running backs stacked up against their linebackers. Maybe they win that, but
that maybe Tank Bigsby probably tipped the cap to Auburn on that one.
Yeah, you can tip the cap to Auburn. Do you tip the cap to our running backs versus their linebackers? Maybe not, because I think the running, like Reagan said, the rush and the running game is probably going to be mostly Jaden Daniels. So I don't think you have to worry about that as much. But I think, I think everywhere else, though, I think we outside of Tank Bigsby versus our line, I don't know, Reagan. I honestly think our linebackers match up better. I think you win that matchup. Harold Perkins, Mac.
Well, here's the thing. I think your defensive line,
because they're one-dimensional, I think you win that matchup.
I mean, Mekhi Wingo and Jaquelin Roy. It's Jaquelin, right? I said the last.
Jacqueline.
What did I say?
Jacqueline Roy.
So
Jaquelin.
yeah, Wingo and Roy, bro, they've been, I feel like, so overlooked because when you're an interior defensive lineman and you're just a run shoving, stopping, smothering guy, it's not like a huge play,
Yeah.
right? But I'm telling y'all right now, Mekhi Wingo and Roy have been playing great, and Wingo has filled Mason Smith's spot very well. That dude's a sophomore. You got that guy for 2, this year, next year, maybe 3, depending on how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited about him. Roy has continued to be impressive. So maybe you don't have to worry about the linebackers with the running back as much because your interior defensive line, I mean, between the tackles, does a lot of work in the run game, and it has been very impressive, especially from Wingo and Roy. Here's one thing we haven't spoke about, and I think needs to be pointed out. Speaking of Roy and Wingo. So Nick Brom was Auburn's veteran center. This year was going to be his 6th year at Auburn. And I think he had tons and tons of experience. It was going to be a great, veteran cornerstone of the offensive line.
Yeah.
He has an injury last year, comes to fall camp, decides to retire from football, kind of like Miles Brennan. He steps aside from football. So now Auburn turns to their, I guess you don't call them their second string because he started their first game, but fall camp, you were expecting it to be Nick Brom. Then they turned to another guy, right? I think his name's like Casey Thompson or something like that. Well, Thompson got injured.
Yeah.
So you are now kind of on Auburn's third string center, and this is his first game tomorrow.
Oof.
Yeah. So the old the Mike Detillier stat that maybe some of y'all know and have heard. A team's first game when their starting center is out, the opposing team covers the spread 80% of the time.
Wow.
So, according to that stat, LSU has an 80% chance of covering the spread tomorrow in Jordan-Hare. And our defensive line is a problem.
Yeah.
And now you have like a third-string guy playing center for the first time, and he's going to be the guy making protection calls against Roy, Wingo, Ojulari, Ollie Gay, Harold Perkins, Greg Penn, Savion Jones. Like, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And I think LSU's defensive front is going to absolutely wreak havoc on that offensive line, being as they have a very inexperienced first time, almost per se, third string center for his first game tomorrow. Yeah. It's going to be, I think, a disarray, a onslaught of let's just say I think Matt House is going to continually pressure him and make him work as a new center. So that's a huge part of the game that needs to not be missed. So with that being said, that is a huge part of the game. I think we need to hit a quick break, and then we will come back and we will give our TA tools for success. We'll hit you right back after this. 5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. All right, Zach. We've given our kind of preview for the game. Now we need to give our tools for success.
Al Landry, real quick, says prediction Jaden will pass over 300 yards. Yeah,
love it.
LSU would win the game. Jason
it.
Baker said, speaking of Harold Perkins, whose spot did he take? Well, Micah Baskerville and Harold Perkins
didn't really take a spot.
Yeah,
Perkins hasn't taken a spot.
Not really. But I would say Baskerville and Perkins have emerged as the starters.
Oh, absolutely. Look,
so you could technically say, maybe they overcame Mike Jones and Greg Penn, but they're really doing a rotation there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It depends. You could call Harold Perkins and Baskerville starters. Like, it depends on what set of personnel you throw out there first, right? Like what like in certain situations, these guys are going to be on the field. Like they are your So it's not that he's not a starter, but like he's not going to be your first guy on the field. So he didn't necessarily take a spot. Perkins comes in and plays in certain situations. I mean, like on a third down, like you're probably going to see Harold Perkins every play, every third down. So yeah, Zach, what I want to see out of this game is I want to see explosive plays. I want to, and we've won games and we've been playing solid and it's been great. It really has. And I think the team has really improved. But there really has not been huge explosive plays. I know we've burst a few runs. Armani's run against Mississippi State. Noah Kane busted a run. But both of those are kind of late when you've worn them down. And against New Mexico State late, they're really worn down. And it breaks loose. I want to see, like, middle of the game, beginning of the game. I want to see, like, explosive plays to the receivers, to Kayshawn. I want to see that. Yeah. I feel like the explosiveness has maybe been lacking a little bit. So that's what I want to see out of this game. I mean, if it doesn't happen and we win the game in solid fashion, then I'm all for it. But that's what I want to see in this game. Well, so what are your tools for success? That's not my tool for success.
For me,
what's your tool for success?
My two. Anyways, all right. My TA tools for success. My biggest tool for success is don't turn the ball over. Because if this is going to end up being a close game, it's going to be because LSU shot itself in the foot. Honestly.
Yeah.
If this is a close game, it is not because Auburn overwhelmed you. It is going to be because you shot yourself in the foot and LSU did not execute plays. So they need to, first off, protect the football. Protect the football at all costs. And you'll be fine. You need to also just execute the plays. Execute. Don't make stupid decisions as well. We don't need any of these dumb personal foul calls or anything like that. And I know that seems like really generic to say, but there's certain times in games where a play that you are able to get off the field and then there's a flag, a personal foul, extracurricular activity after the play, like play within the game, be disciplined, protect the football. And then my other one is continue your dominance on defense. Just continue your dominance on defense. And I don't think they'll have any problem with that. I think they will continue their dominance on defense. I honestly I think LSU's defense just way overmatches Auburn's offense. Just way overmatches Auburn's offense. So in order to win this game and for it to be a solid victory for LSU, they need to continue that dominance. They need to protect the football. and they need to be smart and execute plays. So we're gonna see going into this hostile environment because going into a hostile environment, you're more prone to turn the ball over.
Sure.
You're more prone to make stupid plays, stupid decisions because of the environment that you're in, because it's hostile. So those are my biggest tools for success for LSU to come out victorious or to just not keep this game close.
Yeah. So here's my tools for success. On the offensive side of the ball, your keys to success is consistency from Will Campbell and Emory Jones. They've played, you said 3 games now. Yeah, three. This will be their third.
Straight. Yep.
Okay. So you need
This will be the third straight.
consistency. They've been playing great as true freshmen. This is going to be a true test for them on the road. You need consistency out of them because your biggest threat from Auburn defensively are their edge rushers. If you get consistent play, solid play from Will and Emory, and they hold their own, I think the offense runs just fine. I think you put points on the board just fine. And I think the rest just kind of falls into place offensively if Emory and Will can contain the edge rushers because talent-wise, you outmatch them pretty drastically on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, I got to agree with you. That was my second tool for success. Be consistent. Consistency from Will Campbell and Emory, consistency from the defense. You have been dominant. Continue to be dominant. Continue to bring pressure. Continue to play fast, free, and physical, as Brian Kelly has preached and preached and preached to you. You are playing well. Keep it up. Keep to the standard that they have set for all of you to play to. I got to tell y'all, if you do not subscribe to LSU Gold, you are missing out.
Oh, I guess I need to subscribe to LSU Gold.
Zach, I cannot believe you just told me and just made it aware to me that you are not subscribed to LSU Gold. If you are not subscribed to LSU Gold, you need to be subscribed to LSU Gold. They are releasing weekly episodes after games. They give you a week of preparation. They give you game recaps. They give you locker room, in locker room things like when Brian Kelly at halftime, what he's saying, what coaches are telling players literally in the locker room at halftime, what they're telling them at the end of the game, their speeches, who they give game balls to. If you want to see the major difference in Brian Kelly and previous coaching staffs, go subscribe to LSU Gold and watch those. And listen to Brian Kelly. Listen to Matt House. After the Mississippi State game, when the defense played so dominantly, defense won you the game. I mean, obviously you put points on the board. You put 31 points on the board. But I feel like defense really set the tone for the game from early on and played like that through the rest of the game, put the nail in the coffin with the interception. After that, Matt House got the game ball. And he said to them, because they always call for a speech. Whoever gets the game ball, they also speech. Matt House said this. He said, you don't play to a scoreboard. You play to a standard. He said, come Monday morning, we can't freaking forget our standard. Wednesday, when we go grit, you can't freaking forget the standard. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter what the score looks like. You play to the standard. So defense,
love it.
Play to the standard. Play to the standard that has been set for you. And I think this is going to be a dominant, really fun win to watch. But I'm telling you guys, if you have not subscribed to LSU Gold, nobody, I promise you, nobody is telling me to tell you this. I don't have any connections with inside people like that for them to say, hey, go promote LSU Gold. I'm just telling you, it is worth your $10 a month to go subscribe to LSU Gold. Great content. Whoever is doing that, I don't know who is like running that,
I'm
editing
making
that, filming that. They are killing it. They're killing it. It's a great job. You need to go watch that. All right, let's get to I guess we got a few last little comments here, Zach. Then we'll get a quick break.
Yeah.
We'll come back and wrap it up.
Tyler Townsend said offense needs to come out in tempo. I agree.
Start fast.
Start fast. As Reagan said, you throw a couple punches, punch them in the mouth a couple times, and you could end this game very early. LSU needs to score a touchdown in its first possession. I would love to see that, Tyler Townsend. Would love to see that.
Yeah, I think if you do that, the crowd's going to get quiet real quick. I mean, just from how everything has unfolded in the last few weeks, if LSU comes to town and punches you in the mouth, that crowd's going to get disheartened really quick.
Yeah,
really quick. So, all right, guys, we appreciate it. We're going to hit a quick break, and we'll wrap the show up right after this. Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. All right, guys, it's been a great show. We've been really enjoying the football season so far. It's been awesome with the new era of Brian Kelly. I think I've been just so impressed with what this staff has done with this team so far, and it's going to be a joy to watch that continue come Saturday evening in the Plains in Jordan-Hare when the atmosphere is jumping. And boy, we sure do hope that you punch them in the mouth early and that crowd goes quiet. I didn't give my prediction, so I'll give my prediction here. I think LSU wins 33-17. 33-17. And if I set 17 to my number, if I had to choose over-under, I would choose under for Auburn. I think LSU wins big. I think they win in a dominant, commanding and controlling way. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a great day tomorrow evening, night game in Jordan-Hare. You got to love football time. This is why we love SEC LSU football. Really excited to see how the team adjusts to their first true road test. Appreciate all your comments and your input for tonight's show. We'll be right back here to recap tomorrow night's game on Monday night here in the Tigers Avenue. We'll catch you next time. 5-Star Hero, take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? And the LSU Tigers. Who that 5-star?